Moore has learned to sleep under the hissing tubes and the ever-humming chambers. The pumping cylinders give her comfort, the drumming of a job well done. Nothing startles her more than silence.
이름이 모인 소녀가 있습니다.
내가 뭐라고 했지?
그녀가 사는 이 군도에는 모든 생물의 마른 병을 일으키는 독성 포자가 대기를 뒤덮고 있는데요. 섬 곳곳에 놓인 공기 정화기가 오염을 간신히 막아내고 있습니다. 기계 수리공인 모는 이 정화기가 멈추지 않게 엔진과 배선을 수리하며 지하에 살고 있죠. 하지만 지금 요동치던 엔진 소리가 멈추었고 공기 정화기도 뒤이어 작동을 멈췄습니다. 모는 수리 도구인 옴니 스위치를 챙겨 고장난 것을 찾기 시작합니다.
Moore has done so much around here. Repaired and watched and built. But in this deathly silence, she is once more taunted by the one thing she will never be able to do. Their engineering can be studied and replicated, but their strength they selfishly keep.
엔진은 다름 아닌 살아있는 거인이었습니다.
Despite all the wiring and the manufactured tubes, the engines are powered by physical force.
사판, 베르간, 안데, 아프라라는 이름의 네 거인 형제가 섬 곳곳의 지하에서 전력을 만들어내고 있었죠. 하지만 원인 모를 이유로 네 거인 모두 움직임을 멈추었고 설상가상으로 포자로 인해 지하의 통풍구마저 차단된 상황. 사판은 천천히 질식해가고
Safan. He was always the weakest of the four. He is struggling to breathe. Even Mo can taste the stale air in her mouth. It seems the ventilation system isn't working properly, but nothing does without the engine.
이에 모는 가능한 한 빨리 지상의 공기 정화기에 비상 전력을 공급해야만 했죠. 섬은 이미 포자로 가득했고 곰팡이는 산 것과 죽은 것을 가리지 않고 먹어치우기 시작했습니다. 모는 서둘러 배를 타고 사판의 정화기가 있는 배와 섬으로 향합니다.
Despite all of its dangers, Moore frequently inhales the poison. An occupational hazard, she calls it. A sacrifice others weren't willing to make. Moore was too small to fully understand what was happening during the Exodus, but she saw what the poison was doing to the people around her, plaguing the mind with visions, corroding and eating the flesh. She couldn't bear to watch person after person disappear from her life, so she hid in the networks below. Far away from it all, she never found out exactly who succumbed to the poison and who made it off the island. But it barely matters to her when they're all still gone. The children used to all come here together. Miri, Moore, their friends, for the seaberry jam, the scarecrows and the rides. And then the Exodus happened.
한때 번성했던 배화섬은 모의 유년 시절 추억이 있는 장소입니다. 그러나 이젠 상큼한 바다 과일인 천혜향은 앙상한 가지만 남았고 롤러코스터는 금방이라도 무너져 낼 것만 같았죠. 그리고 남겨진 마스크들.
Moore remembers every one of these masks. The people who once wore them. The lingering memories of people. In one way or another. Now gone.
하지만 모두 떠나버린 이곳을 홀로 지키는 사람이 있습니다.
Her uncle's estate. He should be inside, with the windows shut and doors locked.
끓는 주전자를 보니 삼촌이 아직 돌아가시진 않은 것 같은데요.
He didn't want kids sneaking around, breaking things, or adults stealing things. But Mo was always welcome here. Mo was family.
천혜안 과수원 직위인 모의 삼촌은 언젠가는 사람이 돌아올 것이란 꿈을 가지고 섬에 전 재산을 쏟아부었습니다. 하지만 그 꿈은 병 속에 고인 썩은 물이 되어버렸죠. 그렇게 발견한 삼촌은 정화기를 고쳐보려고 애를 쓰고 계셨습니다. 하지만 농부인 삼촌은 기계에 대해 전혀 알지 못했고 이에 모는 정화기가 고장날 수 있다는 생각에 그만 화를 내고 마는데요.
Mo frowns, her frustration growing. She warned him not to toy with the machines. Mo's uncle huffs, disappointed at his niece's rudeness. For heaven's sake, was I meant to just watch as the poisonous dust slowly settled around my island? He was meant to stay inside and wait for her to be done. His heroics were simply unneeded.
모는 투덜거리며 작업을 시작합니다.
Everything is responding the way that it should. Looks like the old man didn't touch anything important. Relief washes over her uncle at the sight of her success. Feeling thankful and a little ashamed, he offers some seaberry wine as reconciliation. He hands over his key, a sign of his trust, and asks her to fetch them a bottle of his finest, the one tucked away in the shed.
모는 삼촌과 와인을 마시며 잠시 쉴까도 고민했지만 자신의 손에 수많은 생명이 달려있다는 것을 깨닫고는 와인을 다시 내려놓습니다. 그리고 섬을 돌아다니며 삼촌이 자신을 얼마나 좋아했었는지 떠올리고는 너무 무섭게 쏘아붙였던 것은 아닌지 생각합니다.
Mo used to keep little trinkets in this hole, until the day she reached a little too far. Her uncle always laughs as he retells the story of the proudest fish he caught, the Mo.
그렇게 사판의 마지막 정화기에 도착한 모. 하지만 오염이 심한 구역을 지나가야만 했죠.
I can take it, she whispers. I just need to keep moving.
환영을 보기 시작하는 모. 환각은 포자의 대표적인 중독 증상이었습니다.
Someone is shouting. I'm okay, she replies. I'm okay. She lies.
삼촌은 화가 났지만 애써 하고 싶은 말을 누릅니다.
He is glad that he found her, and he laughs off his worry for now. But unvoiced irritation sticks in his throat. He knows she will downplay it. It is routine now. The arguments they have had on repeat. About her hypocritical ways, how she doesn't wear a mask when she forces others to, how she poisons herself. He settles instead for just a few words of concern. Be careful, he smiles. Please come back in one piece. And don't forget to see after your sister. She pretends to not hear him.
그렇게 모는 사파나 영역에 있는 모든 정화기를 가동시키고 사판에게로 돌아갑니다.
Mo takes a deep breath and exhales in relief. She saved Safan from a suffocating slumber and Beva and Born from a poisonous death.
다행히 사판을 회복했고 모는 뒤이어 베르간을 깨우기 위해 헤이마 섬으로 향합니다. 그리고 모의 배에 탑승한 이상한 손님.
Mo stares at the creature, assessing its glare. She won't start a fight. She has no time to nurse an injury. It's not even doing anything. It's just sitting around.
헤이마는 모의 집이 있는 섬입니다. 지금은 모의 언니인 미리가 홀로 살고 있는데요.
Miri agreed to stay back home whenever Mo needed to go below. But more and more frequently, the only thing left at home are fights. Miri fails to grasp the importance of Mo's work. Who else could do the things her sister has to do? Instead of valuing Mo's sacrifice, Miri is just being a burden.
오랜만에 찾은 집. 오랜 추억의 안락함이 모를 감싸옵니다.
Miri prefers her tea dark and bitter, to wake her in the early hours. Mo would much rather sleep in and stuff herself with the sugary walnut cookies.
미리는 마른 병에도 굴하지 않고 여전히 채소와 닭을 키우고 있는데요.
Miri has been diligently growing crops ever since Mo could remember. No blight could take her down. She'd always start anew. There would be lines each month for the fresh harvest.
하지만 정작 자신의 팔은 마른 병에서 구해내지 못했죠.
Does the world have to end for you to come and visit me? Miri jokes at her younger sister, her sarcasm masking her disappointment. Miri tries to reach through and speaks earnestly. It's nice to see you, Mo. I missed you. And she asks Mo to come in for stew. But as if unjustly charged for a crime, Mo defends herself, pushing Miri away. I only came to make sure that you're doing okay. Miri nods. She spent all morning trying to bring her animals inside. She reaches out once more to Mo. I can help you. I'll get ready and I'll come too. No, Mo cuts her off. I'm quicker without you tagging along. I got this. You take care of your chickens. They used to be our chickens. Miri snaps in frustration. You used to care. What even am I to you? For Mo, it's just another confrontation on the island's surface. Another angry outburst from her irate sister, making Mo long for the calm and dark below. But for Miri, it is one more ill-fated attempt to get her sister back. If you leave now, I won't be here when you get back. I mean it this time.
또다시 싸우게 된 두 자매. 미리는 언제까지고 이렇게 살 순 없다며 모두 내려놓고 함께 군도를 떠나길 바라지만 모는 그런 언니를 이해할 수 없었습니다.
I won't be here when you come back. I'll leave you on this forsaken piece of rock. How many times has Miri threatened to disappear, not once going through with her word? She always comes around in the end.
모는 이런 언니의 말과 행동이 포자의 독성으로 인한 정신적인 영향이며 정화기를 모두 고치면 언니의 따뜻한 수프를 먹게 되리라 생각하고 베르간의 정화기가 있는 등대로 향합니다.
Most of Mo's family is still here, however. They couldn't leave their little Mo behind. She is proud now to have been tasked to protect them by virtue of the knowledge and power she found. For when she went below and found the fabled giants, when she befriended them as the only human in generations, they forged the Omni-Switch for her and made her their apprentice. She spent years confined in the underbelly of these islands, just so the surface could shine. She hopes her family is proud as well.
한때 바닷길을 밝혀주었던 등대에는 이제 등대식이 혼자만 살고 있습니다. 그는 대탈출이 일어난 이후 술독에 빠져 끔찍한 악취만 풍기고 있는데요. 자신의 삶의 목적을 잃어버릴 순 없었기에 사람이 떠나도 계속 등대를 지켰고 결국 아내와 아들도 떠나고 말았습니다. 모는 등대에 올라 간만에 하늘을 바라봅니다.
A barbed nostalgia sharply tugs at Moore's heart. I forgot how much I missed the sky and stars.
그렇게 모는 등대의 모든 정화기를 고치고 베를간을 깨우기 위해 섬으로 돌아갑니다.
She does not expect gratitude from her sister, or an apology, but Mo does expect to be welcomed home.
모든 일을 잘 끝마친 모는 곧장 미리를 찾는데요. 하지만 미리는 보이지 않습니다.
Mo doesn't dare to read it. What possible use could reading it have right now? It's all been said, not by the letter or its contents, but by the gemstone left behind.
미리는 둘의 추억에 담긴 보석을 두고 떠났습니다. 이것의 의미를 아는 모는 굳이 편지를 읽지 않습니다. 언니는 떠났지만 모에게는 아직 할 일이 남았습니다. 서둘러 모는 안대가 있는 메모르 페스티 섬으로 향합니다. 그곳에는 모의 할머니가 계셨죠.
Mo hasn't seen her grandmother for a while now, but Granny would never make a scene about it. Yet Mo feels anxious stopping by, not because she doesn't like her. She likes the old woman too much.
할머니는 다양한 곰팡이 변종을 키우며 시간을 보내고 있습니다. 모는 그런 그녀의 모습이 다소 고집스럽게 보이기도 했지만 많은 일에 현명한 그녀를 내심 존경하고 있습니다.
The ventilation system grew through her house, wrecking her bedroom, study, and kitchen. She could have moved away, but she wasn't willing to concede a single inch. Hopefully, she hasn't blocked the valve with her morbid laboratory. Miri is not here, the old woman says, but that is not why you've come. Mo tries to tell her how dire it is, how Under and the others have succumbed, how she needs to do what must be done. But her grandmother merely smirks behind her mask. Now look at you. How important you've become. People are counting on you. Yes, yes. Another chuckle behind the air filter. I have something very important for you to do as well. Would you be so kind as to do me a favor?
할머니는 갑작스레 모에게 어떤 부탁을 합니다.
A favor, she calls it. It may as well be an order. Granny has always had her way of getting what she wants.
모가 사는 이곳에는 마른 뼈으로 사람들이 죽으면 그들을 닮은 조각상을 만들어 애도하는 풍습이 있습니다. 그리고 애도가 끝나면 그라바 섬으로 조각상을 가져가 놔두었죠.
Old companions, the grandmother says, that I have held on to quite long enough. It's time to bring them home. Promise me. Mo's heart plunged into her stomach. She knew what Granny was implying. You do not decline a request like this. Mo promised. Memorfesti and Graba are connected by a bridge that Mo has never fully crossed. The walk always seemed too long, and what lies beyond is what she dreads most.
나머지 두 형제가 어떤 상태에 놓여 있는지도 모를 상황에서 이런 부탁을 하는 할머니가 원망스럽기도 했지만 일단 모는 발걸음을 옮깁니다. 그리고 먼저 정화기부터 고치기 시작하죠.
You can go back now, Mo.
정화기를 고친 순간 모의 마음속에서 어떤 목소리가 들려오기 시작합니다.
You could just tell the old woman off. It's not like you're her servant. Yes, of course, you promised. But she was asking too much. Your grandmother doesn't care about your struggles. That old hag. Throw the figures into the sea. And just say you returned them. What's a little disrespect for the dead? If it saves the living.
목소리는 계속 나무 조각을 던져버리고 한시라도 빨리 거인을 깨우라며 소리쳤죠.
Moore's hand clutches the gemstone in her pocket, left behind by her older sister. Her heart is drowning in a deluge of goodbyes, all of them equally real in Miri's unread letter.
순간 읽지 않은 언니의 편지가 흔들리는 모의 마음을 붙잡습니다.
Miri has 2 figurines in our home, a recent addition, but she has not told Moore who she is mourning. Miri has told Moore that she has a figure ready for her too, just in case. How many times has Miri thought of taking that figure here? All the times Moore would disappear below. All the times Moore was gone for months without contact. Miri not knowing each time whether her little sister would come up again. Not knowing for months whether the catacombs or the blight had finally taken Moore for good. Graba, where we bring our dead, where we surrender their bodies to the blight, a place too virulent to visit, so we mourn at home over sculpted effigies.
망자의 안식처인 그라바섬. 그 안에는 마른 병으로 죽은 사람들의 육신에서 자라난 다양한 종류의 곰팡이가 활짝 피어 있습니다. 그리고 이곳에는 거인의 주검도 있습니다. 인간을 위해 거대한 엔진의 역할을 하는 신적인 존재였지만 그들 역시 마른 병에선 자유롭지 못했죠.
The brothers once walked the surface. Many say they built the world with their hands. They were inventors and explorers, never minding the tiny humans between their feet, living in their tiny houses and tiny streets. When the blight first came and humanity fell into ruin, they went underground to find a solution. Their ingenuity and their toil saved the world above, but also bound them in the deep below. Granny's decided that she's grieved enough.
모는 조각상을 안치하고 할머니에게 돌아갑니다. 그러나 할머니는 또 다른 부탁을 하죠.
Moore's grandmother says, "Thank you," and asks for one more favor. Would you sit with this old woman and listen to the birds and the water? Granny remembers how people from far away would visit Beva and Leoza to have a few days of peace, a few days of nothing but islands, and how lucky little Moore was to have a lifetime of it. Before the Exodus, before her calling. Moore responds she only has a minute, but her grandmother smiles, patting the empty seat beside her. Then, a minute of islands will do.
그렇게 모는 안대를 깨우기 위해 지하로 내려갑니다.
Unde, the giant slumbering beneath Memopheste, is the oldest of the four brothers. Older not by years, but by centuries. A fitting guardian for the islands of the dead. Nothing but a spasm. Pathetic. Try harder. Again.
옴니 스위치를 이용해 생명을 불어넣으려 하지만 거인은 쉽사리 깨어나지 않습니다.
Again.
위태롭게 움직이기 시작하는 안데.
That old hag and her stupid dolls. She knew you needed to get here as fast as possible. How could you let her distract you like that? Unda almost died because of your sentimentality. And Afla is as good as dead.
모는 아프라는 이미 죽었을지도 모른다는 생각에 시간을 지체시킨 할머니에 대한 욕짓거리를 삼켜가며 서둘러 배로 향합니다.
You are alone in this. You always were. And maybe it's better that way.
온갖 쓰레기로 가득 찬 바다. 아프라가 있는 섬으로 가기 위해서는 마지막 남은 선박 제작자 펜야의 해도가 있어야 합니다.
Maul would rather not talk to Fenya, the last of the shipmakers, and one of Maul's most bitter rivals. But if she is to sail to Fayon, she will need Fenya's notes. Fenya's incredible talent spent on building an ark? She is preparing for your failure. The jealous roach is counting on it. Imagine your family lost in the mist on this useless piece of junk.
모는 해도를 찾기 위해 이 원시적인 고철 덩어리 배를 뒤지기 시작합니다. 그리고 마침내 해도를 발견하지만 펜야가 이를 지키고 있습니다.
Fenya ignores her, but Maul's fury demands attention. This is your grand plan? Flee, like every single coward before you? Fenya has heard it all before. The accusations of envy and sabotage. How the Ark's mere existence is an insult to Maul. But she won't respond. Not anymore. She just does what she can. Maul can't have the map for herself. How would Fenya guide the Ark to safe waters without it? Fenya gathers all the composure she can muster for a response. Your arrogance is clouding your judgment, bearer of the Omni Switch. Scorn and worry are woven into every word of Fenya's accusations. Saving this world is too big a task. Even for you, this Ark is your family's only chance. Go home. Be with them. Prepare to leave.
이성을 잃은 모는 펜야의 머리를 내리칩니다. 유일한 수리 도구인 옴니 스위치가 깨졌습니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 모는 해도를 챙겨 아프라의 섬을 찾기 시작합니다.
Check the map again. Fayon is supposed to be here. This map is useless. That roach is useless. They're right to hate you. In the end, everybody will leave you. And you know why. In the end, what have you done to deserve their gratitude? Nothing. Pretender. Fraud. Child.
정화기를 찾던 모에게 또다시 목소리가 들려오기 시작합니다. 목소리는 뭐가 실패할 것이라며 조롱했죠.
The brothers should never have trusted you with the Omni Switch. You were never strong enough to wield it. Useless. Might as well end the charade now and throw yourself into the sea.
모는 지하 네트워크를 발견하고 거인의 제자가 되어 옴니 스위치를 넘겨받은 순간부터 기계를 수리하고 섬을 보호하는 것을 자신의 숙명으로 여겼습니다. 지하에 갇혀 살며 독성 포자를 들이마시는 것쯤은 산업재해 정도로 여기며 자신을 더욱더 옥죄었죠. 사실 모두 어렴풋이 알고 있었을지 모릅니다. 자신을 포함한 모든 것에는 시간이 정해져 있다는 것을.
Moore drifts ashore onto a patch of land so small it was named by a child, who named this quiet, empty place Garnin. It was home to some birds and a cold wilderness, but for Moore, it housed a drowning sorrow. The tumultuous waters of her emotions grow rougher with every step she takes, as she bears the weight of everyone's lives upon her shoulders. It flows underneath her skin, growing as she sees everything that she knows, loves, has fought so hard for, crumble in front of her eyes, all because of something she did. There is nothing we can do but to see ourselves for what we are. Nothing left but to finally let go of our broken dreams and our lost hopes. None of us can stand in isolation and carry the world on their shoulders. None of us must bear everything by themselves. No one is an island. Mo leaves the cold island for the birds.
모는 모든 마음의 짐을 내려놓고 꼭 해야만 하는 일을 하기 위해 사판에게로 향합니다.
The spores are creeping in again, no matter how hard they struggle. Safan and his brothers simply cannot stem the tide any longer. Afla gone and underbroken. Centuries of labor taking their toll.
오늘은 미니드 오브 아일랜드의 스토리를 알아봤습니다. 미니드 오브 아일랜드는 주인공이 고난을 극복하고 성공하는 모습을 보여주는 게임들과는 달리 주인공이 일종의 실패와 좌절을 겪는 모습을 담고 있는데요. 이 게임에 등장하는 인물들은 저마다 다른 이유로 섬을 떠나지 못합니다. 자신의 모든 것을 섬에 쏟아부은 삼촌, 삶의 목적이 등대에 묶여버린 등대치기, 어린 동생을 걱정하고 연민하는 미리, 죽은 친구들을 쉽사리 놓지 못하는 할머니, 그리고 모, 섬은 이들에게 집착의 대상입니다. 하지만 아무리 신적인 능력을 가진 거인이라도 자신의 수명이 끝나는 것을 막지 못했듯이 사람들도 언젠간 섬을 놓아주어야 합니다. 그리고 할머니는 미니드 오브 아일랜드라고 말하며 생명이 다한 섬을 그저 잠깐 있는 그대로 바라보라고 말하죠.
Then, a minute of islands will do.
이것이 이 게임의 제목이며 핵심 주제입니다. 그리고 무언가를 상실한 공허한 마음을 누군가에게 위로받으라고 말합니다. 그게 설령 말이 통하지 않는 대상일지라도 말이죠. 많은 사람들이 모두 자신만의 마음의 짐이 있을 텐데요. 잠깐 내려놓고 주변을 한번 둘러보며 마음을 환기시켜 보는 게 어떨까요? 저도 지금 하고 있는 편집을 잠깐 내려놓고 나갔다 와야 하는 건 아닌지. 오늘 영상은 여기까지고 영상이 좋으셨다면 좋아요, 구독 부탁드립니다.